The next Eric Cantona? 7 players who have been compared to the king. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, if you believe the quote. So when Eric Cantona left Manchester United, there was always going to be a void to fill. Since the 1990s, there have been those who have attempted to evoke the spirit of King Eric through either their electric ability, their fiery passion, or simply by being a bit big-headed. Few have captured the imagination quite like him, though. There's only one Cantona for all those pretenders. Still, that won't stop the world from comparing the next big thing to Eric Cantona. Bruno Fernandez. He arrived mid-season, played behind the striker, and with leadership, goals, and clutch moments, helped fire a below-par Manchester United team up the table. You can see the obvious comparisons. But while plenty of pundits were fawning over Bruno Fernandez, calling him United's best signing since Cantona, Bruno himself wasn't quick to join in. Of course, for me it is really good to listen talking about those names, the Portuguese playmaker said. But really for me, Cantona was an amazing player for the club. I need to do much better to be compared with him. For me, I come to Manchester and it's about winning trophies. Alexis Sanchez. They both wore the same shirt number. That's where the parallels between one of United's greatest ever footballers and greatest ever flops ended, though. Unfortunately, there were those who touted Sanchez for lofty heights. However, we used to say we had a great Formula 1 car, but we didn't have the driver. Gary Pallister said of the 90s side he played in at Old Trafford. Eric then became the driver of that car. I think the same could maybe happen with Sanchez. I think he could maybe change the way that Man United approach a game. He is going to add a different dimension to Manchester United. The way that United approached a game happened all right, with Jose Mourinho soon sacked. The Chilean fireball didn't last much longer either. Edinson Caveney. It's like when Cantona came in, we hadn't seen this type before. He was so professional, said Gary Pallister, again. This time about Edinson Caveney. Gary may have got it wrong with the first player he likened to his former teammate, but he didn't miss the mark. With the second Super South American number 7, Caveney made an instant impact at Manchester United, with many questioning whether he was still an elite forward. Okay, so maybe not quite as transformational as Cantona, but a little closer at least. Odion Igalo. No, really. United fans love a big character up top, but perhaps even they thought this comparison was a step too far. A long time ago Manchester United signed a certain Frenchman, Eric Cantona, who no one really expected much from, and he ended up propelling them to one of their most successful seasons of all time, said Mark Bosnick, in one almighty reach, when talking about the former Watford man arriving mid-season. Igalo wasn't dreadful at United, but it's safe to say he hasn't gone down as an all-time great. Don't hold your breath for 442 to commemorate his 30 years in English football when the time comes. Johan Michaud order now. In the MAG, Eric Cantona, 30 years on, plus Neil Lennon, best comebacks ever, Champions League, Jeff Hurst, John Beck's Cambridge, and more. Back in 2001, Johan Michaud's agent tried hyping up his client to the likes of Liverpool, West Ham, and Tottenham, with a tag that the midfielder could never really live up to. The then-Parma boy was dubbed the new Cantona by Sky Sports at the time, with the broadcasters referring to the Frenchman's poise and confident manner as similar to the great Johan the new Eric Cantona. Michaud ended up at Werder Bremen in the end, struggling for game time in the national setup because of Zinedine, the current Zidane's presence. A lesson to be yourself if ever we saw one. Robin van Persie. He arrived from rivals and helped spur Man United to a title with goals. Though Robin van Persie was a different character to someone like Cantona, his MO at United was enough for his manager to see the similarities. He has got a similar profile to Eric in terms of age and maturity, explained Sir Alex Ferguson when RVP arrived. He came from one big club to another big club and he is an established international. Van Persie won Sir Alex his 13th and final title, 2 decades after Cantona had won him his first. He bookended a phenomenal era of dominance for United, and in that alone, perhaps the parallels are justified. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Is it any surprise that Zlatan himself compared himself to Cantona? Not content with being the new king of Manchester, however, the ever-humble Swede wanted to go one better. I admire Cantona and I heard what he said, Ibrahimovic said. in response to Cantona saying there was only one king at Old Trafford. But I won't be king of Manchester. I will be god of Manchester. And all that after Eric had offered the striker his old number 7 shirt as a welcome gift. Not even the theater of dreams is big enough for those two egos, surely. Read the inside story of Eric Cantona's career in the new issue of 442 magazine. Order 3 copies of 442 for £3 today.